Hello guys, welcome to today's NW opening. Today I'm opening a Mattel Elite Summerslam series Matt Hardy. Now this was an interesting series, very cool box and packaging for these. Bit of a shame to open it, to be honest, but we need to keep making that space. And Matt Hardy's the next guy who is Matt Hardy's the next guy in the order of people that need to be opened. He is going to be appearing in my Fed relatively soon. So yeah, let's get on with it. This is probably my favourite Matt Hardy figure out there. I'm not a massive fan of the broken gimmick, so I'm not a huge fan of those figures. And I also don't dislike the ECW figure of him. Just don't think it's quite as good as the way the figure doesn't quite look as good as this one does, in my humble opinion. But yeah, so as you can see, it's a figure of the version 1 gimmick of Matt Hardy. It comes with both the V1 t-shirt and the warning t-shirt. Comes with the 2 interchangeable hands so that he can do like the double mat pose. And yeah, that's more or less it. There's a little picture of him on the side. You can see on the back there's not particularly any information. It just says Matt Hardy, and then you've got your made in China warning small parts kind of business. On the bottom here you can see who else was in the series. It wasn't a big series, it just included the Edge, which I managed to get loose on eBay, and the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose as well. So I managed to pick this up quite a while ago now. I've had this for at least a year, I'm sure. Managed to pick it up on eBay for about £13, I think. So that was pretty decent, in my opinion. It was about where I'd want to pay for him, because I'd have probably been willing to pay more, because I do like Matt Hardy traditionally, but I just wasn't really sure what I was going to use him for. I've got a little mini feud idea for him for the time being, so let's crack him open and get him ready for that. Okay, so let's get him open and take a look at what we've got here. So get rid of the lovely orange box. We've got a nice blue kind of back card there. That'll probably be good for backstage segments and stuff. This series is from 2018 apparently. And then there's the figure, and we'll carefully grab him out of the packaging and go from there. Okay, so here's the figure, and the first thing I noticed is that he's got quite a lot. He's got quite a lot of like flecks of paint and stuff on the trunks, which is a bit of a shame. He's also quite dusty in places. He has quite a few bits of like dust and muck and stuff on the face. It's a bit weird for a boxed figure, but yeah, generally we're looking at a pretty nice figure here. But as you can probably see there are some specks kind of all over the place on at least like the upper leg of the trunks. The rest doesn't seem too bad, but yeah. So put your arms down, mate. You look stupid. So we'll have a little close up of the face. So here's the face. It looks really good. The hair around the side looks really clean. As you can see, there are a couple of sort of specks on his head, on his face and such. Sort of, there's one just there above his eyebrow, and there's one just below his eye. But generally, it's a pretty nice figure. Bit of super glue overrunning on there. That ponytail feels incredibly delicate. Incredibly delicate. Possibly the most delicate ponytail I've ever seen on a wrestling figure. Of course, there's the t-shirt. Just a V1 on the front, nothing on the back. We've already sort of looked at the trunks, but we'll take another look. Very nice. And then he's got the V1 wrist tape as well on either. Okay, apparently just on that side. And then he's got the V1 wrist tape on his left arm. As we saw earlier, he does have some interchangeable hands, so you can do the Matt Hardy pose with the other hand, or you can give him an open hand for this hand. And the attention to detail is pretty good here. Because obviously he's got the 1 on the back of that wrist tape, which is something they could have easily overlooked or just not even thought about. And you know, it's quite surprising that that Undertaker figure has those hands with no gloves, and yet they remembered to put the 1 on Matt Hardy's spare hand. But whatever. So there's him wearing the V1 t-shirt, of course. We'll pop that off really quick and put the warning t-shirt on instead. So there he is wearing the warning t-shirt, which is quite nice as well. It's really a personal preference on which you prefer these t-shirts, I guess. I'll probably alternate between them while he's in my Fed. I guess it's also kind of, you know, if they'd made a Shannon Moore to run around with him, you could chuck the V1 t-shirt on him, but I guess they didn't do that. Anyhow, so now we'll do the joints, as we always do. The joints on the arms in particular are looking quite impressive here, to be honest. But yeah, so we'll start off with the head. Oh my god, that's stiff. Whoa, that's one stiff head. Okay, that's pretty good. Probably not going to want to move that head too much anyway because of the ponytail. Good stiff shoulder. Nice tight sort of elbow. Good wrist for interchangeable hands figure, to be honest with you. Hard to judge which of these arms is actually better. The shoulders are about the same. The bicep, this one is much stiffer than this one. And then the elbow, this one is much stiffer than this one. Wrists are about the same, but that's pretty good for interchangeable hands. We'll have a look at the ab joint. Just pop this back off again, son. Do you remember when Matt Hardy was part of the Young Bucks? Me neither, but he sort of looks like one here, doesn't he? So, ab joint. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. It's quite stiff. It's not too stiff. Waist joint is fine. It's good enough. Bit loose. Bit on the loose side, but probably be okay. Now we've got the leg. That's okay. Knee is quite stiff. That's quite good. And then the boot isn't going to move very much there. Leg, that one's a lot looser than the first one. Knee's quite good. Yeah. All in all, he's got some incredibly good joints. That's easily one of the best sort of sets of joints on a figure I've had during one of these NW openings. So, in terms of a review, it's a very, very nice figure. I can't deny that. It's definitely my favourite Matt Hardy figure. I really like it. The trunks look really nice. The head is really nice. The hair is really good. The t-shirt option is really nice. It's good to have that. In this instance, the joints are really good. But I guess it's just a bit of a shame about all these sort of paint things all over. So, you know, they put all this effort into designing like a really cool Matt Hardy figure, and then the factory just ruined it. But you know, I'm sure it won't bother me too much. So basically, yeah, this is a really, really nice figure. I would recommend it if you can find it, but one of the issues with these SummerSlam figures is they are pretty difficult to find, especially for a good price. As I said, I got quite lucky picking this up for £13. It's nice having the interchangeable hands. It's nice having the hand pose option. So yeah, that's yeah, it's a really cool figure right there. So as I always do, I'm going to finish this off by talking about where Matt Hardy fits in my Fed. Well, if you have seen the Winter Warfare pay-per-view, there is a segment in that where the 2.5-man band have a match against the Fake Revolution, which are basically a group of stoners. One of them fails to come down to the ring. The 2.5-man band features Headless Mr. Kennedy, and essentially the general manager comes down to the ring and says, there's not 3 men on either team here. This can't be a trio tag team match. Because all the Fake Revolution members are stoned. You know, one of them's not there. Basically just calls the entire match off. As a consequence to being stoned in the ring, Evan Bourne gets stripped of his cruiserweight or light heavyweight title, however you want to look at it. And there is then a tournament, which obviously I didn't televise because I couldn't be bothered, to determine the new champion. The finale of which is Matt Hardy versus Dean Malenko, which is going to be happening at the WrestleFest pay-per-view. It was one of the most recently confirmed matches in the updated match card. And that's more or less it. There's a little feud that ensues from there. And yeah, that's more or less all I have planned for him so far. This is going to be a really nice figure to just chuck on the shelf if I can't think of anything else anyway. So, you know, if worst comes to worst and I can't think of anything and I just end up releasing him, you know, it's probably still worth having. Anyway, thank you for watching this NW opening, and goodbye.